Hello everyone. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe. Click on that notification bell. Like, dislike, comment, share. Let us know what you're thinking. You could also follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. Now, today on the Angel of Words podcast, we will be discussing the reopening, the restarting of Major League Baseball and the National Basketball Association. Two topics which I love because I am a sports fanatic, and we will be talking to our Angel of Words sports correspondent, Mr. Cory Semidey, on deck on the Angel of Words podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Angel of Words podcast. And today, this podcast is a little special because I don't know if y'all know, my background is in sports journalism. That's how I started with Blue Magazine. And today, I have a guest who knows more about sports, especially the MLB and the NBA, which is what we'll be talking about today. More than anyone I've ever met in my life, including myself and including any of the pundits that you see on any of the networks. Today we have Cory Semidey joining us on the Angel of Words podcast, the Angel of Words Entertainment sports correspondent, Mr. Semidey.
I love it.
Thank you for joining us on the Angel of Words podcast, my brother. We've been quarantined for God knows how long. Sports is back on, and we need to talk about it.
What can I say about that introduction, man? You know, I do love sports. I think that's one thing that when we met, we kind of connected on. We both love sports. We both love talking about sports, analyzing sports, and looking forward to sports. So we have been quarantined for a while, and sports are back, and I'm excited about it, just like you are.
Facts. Now, Cory, I want you to tell the public, why do you love sports so much? And tell them why you're such an expert, man. Just tell them. Let them know what time it is.
Expert is a quite a flattering name, I should say, but I would consider myself,
you know?
Yeah, we'll call it a spade a spade. I mean, I follow sports. I follow all the major sports. I mean, probably with the exception of hockey, I'm a fair weather Rangers fan, I guess. But, you know, I follow baseball closely. I follow basketball, and I follow football very closely. I was raised, you know, my father was always a big sports fan. I was raised a Knicks fan. I was raised a Yankees fan. I was raised a Jets fan, sometimes unfortunately, but, you know, whatever. But the thing about sports that I love more than anything is, you know, it's competition. It's unpredictable. It's the best reality show you can have because it's not scripted. It's man versus man. It's basically legal war. It's war without death. You know what I'm saying? It's man versus man and fight to the finish. May the best man win. And there's something about the competition aspect of it. Even when it comes to fighting, you know, UFC and all boxing and all these different sports that we have. And it's just that competition and that reality and that, you know, that camaraderie and all the things that come along with sports that makes me love it so much.
And that's what I always noticed about you. You know, I was like, man, like I used to love to just listen to you, bro, especially a person like me. Like, I'm very opinionated. You know, I was doing my thing, but I'm like, yo, you know, the best thing you could do is listen. And I always enjoy listening to you. So that's why I'm letting everybody know right now, hard body, that this person's like opinion is relevant because this man knows what he's talking about. And we're going to start with the bubble. Your thoughts on that bubble in the NBA, my brother?
Well, I got to say, Adam Silver's the GOAT. You know, when it comes to commissioners in this sports world, none of them are messing with Adam Silver. He knows how to appeal to the players. He knows to give the league the best opportunity to be successful. And he is, in my opinion, running laps around all the other commissioners. So when they came up with this idea for the bubble, at first I was like, wait, what is bubble? Like, I'm thinking literal bubble. I'm like, what are they making, a biodome type thing? Like, what are they doing? Then I started looking into the research, and I realized, I see what they're doing. They're going to Florida. They're quarantining everybody, which is smart because, you know, you don't get like what baseball is going through right now, I don't mean to go off subject, but what baseball is going through right now, NBA is avoiding, because baseball, they're still traveling. NBA, they're all locked into that one area. So it's like, it's the smartest way to do it. And I like it. I've been watching it, and, you know, they NBA has a way of not missing a beat, man. You watch the games and you kind of forget that it's in a bubble. You know what I mean? Like, I was expecting some summer league looking shit. Like, it's like, you know, oh man, I can't watch this brand of basketball. This is embarrassing. But the NBA just always finds a way, bro. And, you know, they're appealing to the home team, you know, despite not having home court advantage, like you would say. They're having the home team's, you know, imagery on the signage or whatever. And like, the court is designed for whatever home team, I should say, is playing. And I think the NBA has done a phenomenal job with managing this bubble.
Well, I'm happy that you hyped about it, because I wasn't, I'll be honest. Like, even during the exhibition situation, I was like, yo, this is looking like AAU. This is looking like Summer League. It's not popping. I don't see it. But then when the season started and, you know, they got all the mics going on, they have all the special effects, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe I can get hyped with the Fugazi, you know, extracurricular things that are going on around. Like,
it's a little weird. It looks like NBA 2K in a sense, where they're going with these funky little angles and shit like that. But at the end of the day, it's I've been so thirsty for sport. I would have watched volleyball, bro. If they put volleyball on TV, I would have watched. I was just so thirsty for sports. We went 3 months with just listening to, you know, 98.7 to 101.9, just talking about nothing for 3-4 months. Like, and I'm just happy that we got sports back. But as far as
Corey,
the NBA,
I was watching them throwing sandbags and holes on ESPN. You remember that?
I'm listening. Bro, you know how hyped I was for the NFL draft? Bro, I watched all 8 rounds of the NFL draft. I don't watch none of that. I watched the first 2 rounds, and I was just, okay, who we got? Okay, boom. Bro, I was tuned in like that shit was the Olympics, bro.
Now, Corey, I don't like the way they're heading into the playoffs. I don't even think the Eastern Conference should have been playing any games, but obviously you have to warm them up. I felt like there should have been a scrimmage of some kind where, like, you know, Washington is not invited because those games don't matter. I felt like they should have scrimmaged the Eastern Conference and let the Western Conference battle for those playoff spots like they're doing right now. And they're not doing head-to-head games, you know, in those final 5 seeds. And, you know, and not even to, I mean, Memphis was up 3 games. I felt like they should have played scrimmage went straight into the playoffs. How do you feel about that? Because I wasn't feeling that.
I could see where you're coming from as far as that's concerned, but you also got to play it both sides. Like, you can't just say, all right, West Coast teams or West Side teams come out, but the East, y'all suck, so don't even come. Like, you got to kind of let them both come out and play. I guess, you know, they could have probably went straight to the playoffs, but then it's that, like, that what if factor, that what if the rest gave Portland a nice boost and then they came out firing and won like 5 straight and made the playoffs type thing. So I think it was cool that they did like a little play-in joint to the playoffs. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, are they going with the same NBA format for the playoffs?
Yeah, they are going with the same NBA format.
Okay, so they're keeping that the same. So yeah, I think it was cool that they let them play in and get those, you know, because obviously the East is probably a little less competitive than the West, but the West, I mean, I want to say anywhere from like 7 to 10, those are interchangeable parts. Like, you could plug any one of those teams in the 8th seed and it'll still be respectable playoff basketball. Maybe not in the East, but in the West. So like I think Portland's out of it after losing today. And then San Antonio won on the DeRozan free throws. So I think that Portland might be out, but I think it's cool that they gave him an opportunity. You know what I mean?
I know. I hear that. You know, what I also hear is that players are having a hard time staying within that bubble, though, bro. And I'm like, yo, guys, like, you know what you signed up for. I don't want to hear it. And I knew that because, you know, I used to be 20 years old as well. I know what it's like. I used to play sports, you know, at one point. And I'm like, yo, man, like, guys, you knew what you signed up for. You knew the food was going to be garbage. You knew you weren't going to be around females. And then we have Lou Williams getting caught up at Magic City.
So where he messed up, from what I understand, he takes a picture with a fan, but he's wearing the face mask that is issued in the bubble. So he couldn't even deny it, you know what I mean? So he owned up to it, and like I saw Steven Jackson kind of got a little, whatever about it, like, oh, if it was someone else who went out, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, like, bro, you knew, for one, you know how important the Clippers are to this scenario. Like the Clippers, like, and you know how important you are to the Clippers' success. So to even put yourself in that position, and I love Lou Williams. Like this is not even, I'm not even hating on Lou Williams. I love Lou Williams. But that was a stupid thing. And so I heard on the radio, somebody said this, and I thought it was so funny. He was like, the one thing that's going to mess up sports resuming is the horniness of these young players. And I was like, damn, if that ain't the damn truth, you know, they want to go to strip clubs and out and about. What is wrong with them, man?
But bro, I'm like, bro, not even 3 months. I mean, come on, geez, like
he couldn't go. He couldn't go a couple months without going to the strip club.
You know what I mean? And that already makes me not want to pick the Clippers. I'm like, all right, so already you're the most least disciplined team. Yeah. I'm not gambling on y'all at all whatsoever. No. I'm not taking. Like, everybody that gambles out there, don't take the Clippers. You already know Lou Williams' head is not in the game. Is in Magic City thinking about chicken wings and thighs and everything else, man.
Everything but what he's supposed to be doing. That was just plain stupidity, bro. Stupidity, and it's also like, it's a slap in the face of his teammates at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I don't want to make it like a personal attack, but it was just fucking stupid, man. Why did he do that? But
you know what I got with Kawhi? You can't play those type of games. Kawhi's one of the most focused individuals in the game that you're ever going to see.
All he cares about is that LOB, you know what I mean? He just wants that Larry O'Brien trophy. He don't care about nothing else.
That's a fact, man. Now,
dogs, like LeBron locked him up at the end of the game and got that victory, though.
You know. Now, you know, talking about LBJ, right? Now, do you think it was a good decision by the NBA to stop all the voting? I mean, in terms of like keeping the voting for the awards at the 67 game stoppage. Do you think that was a good situation by the NBA?
I think so, because what is it? We're going to judge it by those games, and then like the 2 playing games that they played afterwards, like those aren't really going to affect it. I think going into the break or going into the pandemic, the COVID stoppage, I think LeBron was MVP. Everyone likes Giannis, and I like Giannis too, but at the end of the day, LeBron was balling out. Right before the COVID hit, he had beaten the Bucks. He had beaten the Clippers. He was balling out, and who's to say that he wouldn't have just continued on that run right there? The other thing is, like, I like Giannis. Don't get me wrong. Giannis is dope. But the fact that Giannis has no perimeter and no shot drives me insane, bro. Like, the man is the best NBA player in the world, and he can't shoot a jumper? Come on, man.
I mean, it reminds you of LeBron when he was coming up. Everybody had that same criticism of LeBron coming up in the game. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, like, I mean, you know, it's funny that you say that you think that LeBron is the best player, because he's gotten a lot of flack. Everybody talked a lot of smack last year talking about he can't make it in the Western Conference. You know, he needs help, blah, 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 blah. And now LeBron gets help, and all of a sudden, oh, his help is one of the top 5 players in the NBA. I'm like, yo, but it's like, yo, what do you want from him, B? Like, he's number 1 in the Western Conference killing. You were complaining that he's no longer any good unless he has help, like every other basketball player that's ever played this game, which you saw The Last Dance. Even Jordan said, like, yo, once Pip started stepping his game up and I started, like, really working with him one-on-one and working, you know, on making him that guy that he could rely on me and I could rely on him, boom, we started taking off. And now they're giving him a lot of flack for having Anthony Davis, a guy that everybody else also criticizes. Like, you can't have it both ways, NBA critics.
I agree with you. And, bro, we could do a whole podcast on The Last Dance. You know what I mean? Because that shit was phenomenal,
that's
bro.
Fact. That was off the chain.
I'm a diehard Knicks fan, but
Hard body, me too.
So I was tuned in every week, like, with my glass of whiskey. Like, this is the best thing I ever witnessed in my life. But going back to LeBron, for LeBron, I like LeBron. I hated LeBron when he went to the Heat. You know, I hated him just like mostly everybody else. But when Bron went back to Cleveland and won that title, he earned, like, all my respect. What he went through down 3-1 and all that shit, and came back and won that title, I was like, all right. Bron's the man. Like, it's no question. Now, when he chose to go to the West, and I'm like, why? Like, why? You got a red carpet to the finals every year in the East, and you want to go to the West. Then he goes to the West. I mean, Grant, I'm just going to forget about his first year out there because he's playing with the likes of, like, bum number 1 and bum number 2. But when he got, like, a team like he has now, and he's playing the way he's playing, and year 17 are we in? Like, yo, give that man the MVP, bro. Like, that man is phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal.
Now, but do you think the Lakers are going to go all the way? Because I don't. All
right. So
I feel like it's so weird with this bubble situation. I like the Rockets, personally.
I like the Rockets. You know what's funny? I was thinking the same thing.
I like the Rockets. I don't know why. I just do.
The way this bubble works out, it takes a lot of factors out of it. And for one, it takes away the pressure. Because if you're a team and you got to go on the road to L.A. and play under the Staples Center's lights and all that craziness, like, you're going to sink in that situation if you're not mentally strong. But if you're playing in the AAU tournament, NCAA tournament style situation where everybody's basically on the same equal playing field or playing court, whatever you want to call it, it's any man's game. And quite honestly, I think it's a younger man's game. So if you got a young team that is like, they're young and motivated and they click with each other, bro, there's no telling what could happen. I mean, look at Boston. Boston got a squad. Got a squad. Houston, you got 2 of the most prolific scorers in the league on one squad that could run laps around half the league. I mean, granted, it's small ball. They don't got a big man, but in this situation, no one really knows what to expect. I mean, it's a smaller arena. It's a smaller situation. It's different, and when it's different, usually the person that you went with thinking was going to win it, I don't know. Now, if you put a gun in my head right now and say, who's making the finals in the Western Conference, I'm not betting against LeBron. I'm not going to bet on Harden because Harden has shrunk. I mean, we all saw OKC in the finals against the Heat when Harden disappeared. I mean, granted, that was a long time ago, but we also saw when the Houston choked to the Clippers a couple years ago, so like.
But Corey, speaking on that, now Harden has had to take the brunt of all of the shots, of all of the minutes. Now he's had an interlude. With a guy like Westbrook on his team, it's hard for me to bet against those 2 obvious MVP type players.
No, listen, Russell Westbrook's my favorite player. I love Russell Westbrook, bro.
Yeah.
So I think that man is phenomenal. And honestly, I would love to see Russ win a ring. I would love it. And the brand of basketball that they play is probably good for what is going on right now. So listen, I like Houston. I agree with you about the Clippers. I don't know about them. Look, so the NBA changed, right? It went from big threes everywhere to now it's duos everywhere.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the duo of PG and Kawhi just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't wow me. It doesn't, I like, if I had to pick a duo, I'm going Westbrook Harden, I'm going AD LeBron, I'm going them before I go with Kawhi and Paul George.
Yeah, because with me, it's something about PG that just, I don't think he has that if factor. Yeah, and no disrespect to, no disrespect to his game, but, he suffered that really tough injury. We were together, actually, when we saw that happen.
Bro,
you know
were.
What I'm saying? And I'm like, and it's nothing against PG, but I feel like these other guys are just like so focused. They've been to the finals before. I just feel like that level of hunger is something that PG just hasn't tasted yet.
Yeah,
in that LeBron Eastern Conference while he was out there.
He came up small in OKC in the playoffs, Paul George. I mean, I like Paul George too. Like I'm a fan of all these guys, so it's hard for me to shit on them. But at the end of the day, I agree. I think that I don't know if he's built for that moment like those other boys are. And it's going to be interesting because, I mean, it's any man's game. That's the cool thing about this whole pandemic thing. It's any man's game. This new bubble, this new situation. It's all about like which team is going to capitalize on this different moment. Because you ain't got, like I said, the pressure's away. There's nobody watching. Like, okay, granted, you got those fake fans and all that thing, but that's it, bro. Now it comes down to who got that dog in them. You know what I mean? And I think LeBron got it. I think Westbrook got it. So I would love to see a Lakers, Houston, LA Western Conference Finals.
I don't think that'll happen, though. I don't think they're going to get up to the third seed.
Oh, yeah,
though.
I don't think it. I don't. Yeah, so it'll probably
because
be like
you forget about Denver, you forget about Utah, you forget about those hungry ass. But there's some hungry ass young dudes, though. You can't sleep on them, though, and they win games. They're not going to make it easy. They're not going to make it easy. You know, I don't even want to be the 2 seed playing Doncic and them boys with Porzingis.
Why would you? Yo, Luka is disgusting, bro. You saw what Luka and KP the other day combined for like 80 points, bro.
That was nuts. That was nuts.
Dude is a walking triple-double, bro. Kid's been playing professionally since he was, what, 16?
Yeah. Now, Corey, what do you think about everybody thinking that Milwaukee's going to have a cakewalk to the finals? Because I don't see it. I just cannot see it.
They said it last year, right? They were going to win the finals. They won those first 2 games. Everybody was sweating. Oh, my God, Giannis, da-da-da-da. What happened? They choked 4 straight. I think it was to Toronto.
Yeah.
Boom. And that was it. Now, everyone knows how do you beat – I mean, not everyone knows how you beat Milwaukee, but it's kind of hard. But you got to take Giannis out the game because –
you keep him out the paint. If you keep him out the paint.
Keep him out the paint. He cannot shoot, bro. So you keep him out the paint and you force Chris Middleton to beat you. And I'm sorry, Chris Middleton's cool, all-star and all that. He is not winning a series, bro. Like, Giannis is
so you don't have a faith. You don't have a faith in the rest of the Milwaukee squad to pick up Antetokounmpo.
If Milwaukee makes the finals, I wouldn't be surprised. But I would not. I'm not calling it a cakewalk by any means. So you still got Boston out there, and like I said, for some reason Boston, I like Tatum, I like Kemba, I like Hayward, I like Jaylen Brown. Like Boston's a nice team.
Gritty players, they're gritty players. They're gritty players.
Toronto, Toronto got they're nice, and they got a chip on their shoulder. Everybody's saying like, oh, they lost Kawhi, they're not gonna do nothing no more. Bro, they just went out and beat LeBron, the Lakers. You know what I mean? But. My man Siakam, kid is just blossoming before our eyes.
He really is, man.
Kyle Lowry.
What a good player he is. He's solid, man. And that team has championship pedigree as well, because you forget about that. Just because you lose a big-time player, when you go through that stretch of playing into June, people don't understand how that changes you as a player, how that affects your confidence, how that just transforms who you are. People forget about that, so you cannot sleep on a team like Toronto that has championship pedigree. Mostly all the players came back. You know what I'm saying?
And the funny thing about them is, if people forget, LeBron was the only thing standing in their way for years. Yep. When they had DeRozan in them, they were nasty. They were like top seeded every year in the East, and then every time they ran into LeBron, it was like, okay, that's where your buck stops. There ain't no more LeBron in the East. You know what I mean? Giannis is cool. Giannis ain't LeBron yet. You know what I mean? Giannis needs to get a couple accolades under his belt before you could put him in LeBron status. LeBron is a tier up above these boys. Yeah. So honestly, I would not be surprised if Toronto came out the East. I don't see them winning it all. I think whoever comes out the West wins it all. But I would by no means say it's a cakewalk for Milwaukee. Milwaukee still got to prove themselves. They said Milwaukee was the favorite last year. They got bounced by Toronto.
Now, real talk, Corey. So, in your opinion, Giannis Antetokounmpo is not the Messiah of the East yet. He's still got to put in that work. You still got to put in that work. You still got to develop a jumper, bro. I'm sorry, you're good, but if a team is smart and they just keep you out the paint and they doubling you all day and they forcing Chris Middleton to beat you, you got to get a jumper, bro. This is the NBA. You're not gonna win off layups and dunks all day long, every day. I'm sorry, not in the playoffs. Now you see the Milwaukee Bucks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, or you got them going that far? No, yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely. I see them going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I could even, like I said, I could even see them going to the finals. But are they going to wipe the floor with every team just because they got a Giannis? Absolutely not, bro. There's some talent in the East, and they're going to have a tough road ahead of them. I mean, maybe the first round will be a breeze for them, but once they start playing some real competition, people forget Kemba's battle tested. That boy. I mean, granted, he was in Charlotte all those years and bumming it, but that boy is, in college, he was a cardiac Kemba, bro. Don't forget about that boy. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. Kemba's got skills, man. And they got a great coach over there. Great coach. Great. They got depth on that team. They got a lot of young talent.
Jason Tatum, sometimes he looks reminiscent of Kobe.
So would you say Boston is your dark horse coming out the East?
Yeah. I think Boston will be my dark horse. If you can consider them that, I would say Boston's my dark horse out the East. Out the West, I don't think anyone's beating those teams I mentioned. I mean, like those teams like Denver and them, like they good and all that, but they ain't going nowhere. Like everybody knows they're gonna lose.
Got you. They are right, but they're not real.
They are right, but they're not real.
I hear that.
LeBron's
all right, so
that deal.
I hear you. So now we're gonna change paths. We're gonna go into Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball.
That has also gotten underway here in 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, there's been a lot of talk that the Major League Baseball should have just stopped. They didn't really seem to have a clear club plan. There's always a problem with collective bargaining with Major League Baseball, the commission at the owners, but they finally came to a deal. Do you think that the Major League Baseball should have started, my brother? Because I don't.
Whoa. I absolutely think baseball should have started. We differ on that one. Listen, the only thing that I could say is that it was embarrassing when you got people out here losing their jobs left and right? You got people collecting unemployment. You got all this shit going on in the country, and these boys are fighting over millions and billions. That at first was like, all right, this is getting a little sickening. Like, we want a 60-game season. Nah, we want a 70-game season. Nah, we want full salary. Nah, we want prorated salary. It was just a bunch of bullshit that they were going back and forth on. But at the end of the day, I can understand why they chose to go with the 60-game season. It makes sense because obviously you want to keep it as little as possible. But I absolutely, I'm a little biased in the situation because I'm a Yankee fan and we got the best, in my opinion, the best team in the major leagues right now. So like, I would never want to just mail it in. Like if I'm a Mets fan, I'm going to be like, yeah, fuck it, cancel the season. Like, I don't care. But the Yankees are probably the favorite to win it all this year. I mean,
they are. Technically in Vegas, the Caesars Sports Books has them winning it.
Yeah.
Same odds as the Dodgers. So yeah, the Yanks, you already know they're favorites this year.
For me, and I just was concerned about, and obviously we're seeing it right now with all the COVID stuff. The Phillies, the whole damn near roster, the whole roster of the Marlins, the Cardinals, the whole roster. It's all these teams that are testing positive, and even the commissioner said like, if y'all don't get this under wraps, I'm canceling the season. Like, y'all got to figure out how to do this. But it's hard because first of all, how are you going to play baseball in a bubble? For one, the rosters are too big. For two, what bubble? I don't know. That don't make sense for that. And so you're doing a lot of traveling. When you're doing a lot of traveling, you're obviously increasing your exposure to possibly, getting the symptoms or getting the COVID or whatever. But I absolutely think they had to start baseball. I'm glad they finally came to an agreement with the Players Association. And, I'm just praying that they fix this issue that they're having right now with postponing and canceling all these games so we can have a real season and get into that disaster of a postseason that they designed. But that's for a whole nother story. We'll get into that.
Well, Corey, that's my issue with baseball. It's the sport that I've always grown up loving more than any other sport. But as time has gradually gone on, I got turned off with the 94 strike. You know what I'm saying? Then we have this bubble situation, people fighting about money. They can't figure out where to play. There's always some kind of discourse in baseball that doesn't help the game. Every time, like, I feel like the game is rising, like we're infiltrating, all the young kids in America and becoming a sport that everyone is gravitating to. They always do something stupid to mess that up. Because I'll be honest with you, they could have played in a bubble. They have spring training. What is spring training? That is a bubble.
That's true.
Spring training is a bubble. You could have kept, you could have kept people in that spring training bubble, but because you're worried about money on both ends, and my thing is, you're worried about money, but then Mookie Betts gets a $300 million deal. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't make sense to me. That's why baseball is losing my love, because all you have to do is do it like spring training. Half the league plays in Arizona, half the league plays in Florida.
Well, they
keep them in a bubble.
That.
And I don't know why they couldn't make that
that
happen. Of course they suggested it. But because all these owners are greedy in baseball, they don't want to pay out. They don't want to shell out that dough. And the players don't want to not take less dough, which I understand. Don't get me wrong. But all I'm saying is that leads to a concoction of ruining a sport that's already considered antiquated.
Yeah. Well, I think some of these new rules that they're trying to introduce are just so stupid. For one, the 10th inning with the extra runner on second, like, give me a break, bro. Like, you're ruining the integrity of the game. The other one with a pitcher got to pitch to 3 batters, like, that's not how the game is played, bro. It's a game of matchup. If I got a righty coming up, I'm going to bring in my righty out the pen. And if a lefty follows him, I'm going to bring a lefty out the pen. It's a matter of managing your bullpen. And you have to be able to allow the managers to do their job. Part of a manager's job, actually, arguably one of the most important parts of a manager's job is managing the bullpen. So you can't tell me, oh, if you bring that guy in, he has to face 3 batters. That's a joke. That's a joke to me. I can't even believe that they allowed that to happen. I understand trying to speed up the game, like you only get a certain amount of time between pitches, because at the end of the day, baseball is kind of a slower game. You know what I mean? So they have to do something to speed it up just to attract the younger fans and shit like that. But to implement all these new rules that just completely change the outcome of the game or the way the game is managed and the way the game is played, I'm not a fan of that at all.
I'm not. And I feel like, when it comes to like, attracting younger fans, this, that, and the third, market the players. Let the players be more boisterous.
Well,
Let me tell you something, my brother. I just started this podcast not too long ago. I was able to get a former NBA player on this situation. You know what I'm saying? I tried to reach out to a ton of Major League Baseball players, English-speaking baseball players and Spanish-speaking baseball players. They don't let those players be themselves and actually go out there and market themselves. The owners and the organizations put clamps on their speech, and people don't speak about that. And that's a problem with baseball, because who do we identify with when you're looking at sports? Because there's a lot of football players that wear helmets that we love. Mm-hmm. Why do we know them? Because they have social medias, they're boisterous. I follow way more people on social media from football, basketball, even hockey than I do in baseball. They need to let those guys start letting them show their personalities a little bit more, man. And it's so crazy because it's such an individual sport, because, you're in the batter's box by yourself. You're on base by yourself. Even though you got to pay attention to your team, a lot of the things you do in baseball, it's one-on-one. It's just you and the baseball, and you're waiting for a reaction. And I really feel like Major League Baseball has never gotten a grasp on American culture. They've never been able to adapt to American culture as it has progressed. Look how long it took them, ever since they actually integrated baseball, that was it. That's like the most cutting edge thing they've ever done in their lives, man.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying, bro? And that's the issue with baseball. They don't know how to keep up with American society, and it's gonna die out, man. Three batters. You having to face 3 batters when you're coming out the bullpen, like you said, you're damaging the integrity of the game. That's not part of the strategy. People will like a sport when they understand the sport and they relate to the players and it seems cool. Baseball doesn't seem cool. And when it last seemed cool, we had to give players steroids.
Yeah. Well, listen, if it wasn't, everyone hates on Bonds and Sosa and all them. If it wasn't for the steroids era, where would baseball be? That is what single-handedly, I think it was the summer of what, 98? That summer brought back baseball. Baseball was like going like this, and then all of a sudden, they start jacking home runs left and right. Boom. Everybody's tuning into baseball. Oh, did you see that McGuire hit 60? Oh, my God. Boom. I was a kid. I was, 11 years old at the time, and I was tuned in. I mean, granted, I've been a baseball fan since I was a little one, but, the one thing I don't like, for example, Mike Trout, right? Face of baseball. What do you know about Mike Trout?
Nothing.
Other than that, he's good at baseball.
Nothing.
He's not out there, and maybe that's a fault on his character, a fault on his personality. Maybe he's more private. But at the end of the day, like you said, baseball players are not out there. They're They're not doing all this stuff to the social media. They're not attracting people to the game. They're not making the game fun. But then the thing I don't like is the traditionalists who are like, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. You can't hit a home run and flip your bat. You can't hit a home run and stare at the ball. Fuck out of here. If I hit a home run, I'm flipping the bat and what? Let me hit a home run off a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, bro. I am doing everything. Look at, and then so this is what I don't understand about baseball, right? So everybody kills the batter. Oh, they should hit him the next pitch. They should throw the pitch at him. But then when the pitcher strikes out the side, what does he do? Yeah, let's go. Boom, and pumps his fist and screams. But it's okay for the pitcher to celebrate. But if a batter hits a home run that could change not only the game, it could change the season, it could change that player's career, it could change the money that player makes. They hit a home run. They're not allowed to celebrate. They got to just put the bat down nicely and jog. Get out of here. When Westbrook bangs a dunk on a defender, does he just like turn around and walk up the floor? No, he's like, let's go. You know what I mean? That's what baseball is missing, that intensity. And until they start letting players display that intensity without penalizing them, then it's never going to catch up to NFL and NBA. It's never going to catch up.
And you know what kills me, right? On top of, piggybacking of what you said, then they add all these extra stats. So now you're adding more information to a game that needs more emotion. It doesn't need more information. Yeah. So now we're worried about OPS. Stolen bases no longer matter. Your batting average no longer matters. We're talking about WAR for how great players
Nobody
are.
Knows.
Yeah. And
Nobody knows what's what.
Exactly. And these are, you have to be literally a person that's into baseball to understand what's going on with the progression of baseball. Because now it's like you have all these new stats. Oh, he bats above 300 during the night on Friday and Saturdays while he's facing a lefty. Like, for real, bro? Like, nobody cares about that.
Always.
I want to see emotion. I want to get to know my players. I want to relate to them. And it's crazy, man. And I love the stats. Don't get me wrong. That's pretty cool, but they're not, like I said, man, like we said, they're just not doing a great job of relating to the players. And, talking about all those stats and all these situations that's going on, baseball will always have a problem with cheating. Could we talk about the Houston Astros? Could we talk about
Oh, my God. So, first and foremost, they are the biggest disgrace to baseball I've ever seen. Now, it's one thing. Okay, like, now everyone's comparing, like, this to that, like apples to oranges. Oh, but when so-and-so took steroids, it was okay, da-da-da-da-da. I'm not saying that it's okay, first of all. Second of all, like, half the league was on steroids. You know what I mean? So, it's whatever. You still got to swing the bat. But for you to know what pitch is coming, you completely took the integrity out the game. You cheated. You used a visual monitor and a system to cheat the other team. You stole, and it's not like, okay, if I'm on second base and I'm looking at the catcher and I see a sign and I signal it back, that's different. You're using your eyes and your own skill to signal your team. That's different. But when you're using a digital monitor and you're using a trash can and you're doing all this silly shit, and who knows about the sensor on the shirt? Okay, so let's take it back to the ALCS. So what's this little short guy's name? So Altuve.
Oh yeah, Altuve. I hate him. I used to respect him, but now I can't stand him.
So
I might pop off on Altuve if I see him anywhere in Latino America. Jorge Altuve, no sé por qué tú hiciste eso, mi hermano. That sucks. You killed me with that.
You're gonna sit there on Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis Chapman, and you know what slider's coming. And you know what slider's coming. You slap it out the park. Granted, because you knew it was coming. The only reason why you slapped it out the park.
Yeah.
And you're going to jog like nothing happened. Like, I'm sorry, bro. If I just got lucky and connected my bat to a ball that took me to the World Series, bro, I'm jumping out the batter's box. Let's go. The fact that he hit it like that and he's jogging, and then he rounds third, and what's he saying? Don't take off my shirt. Don't take off my shirt.
Yeah.
So you just hit a home run to go to the World Series, and the only thing you're concerned about is don't take off my shirt, and then you're gonna make up some story about my wife doesn't like when my shirt comes off. Give me a break, bro. You're a cheater, man. Bro. So anyway,
Disgrace.
Take that off. So the other thing I don't like about them is they took no accountability for it. They were just like, oh well, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do no, bro. Y'all cheated. All right, y'all cheated the game of baseball. You're, as far as I'm concerned, they should strip them of that title. You know what I'm saying? But it just kills me because the Yankees have been the best team for those 2 seasons, right? We lost to them in 17.
Yeah.
Then who knows what Boston was doing? We still don't know what happened with Boston. Boston's still under investigation or whatever. But the fact that the Astros, that the guy Kelly gets penalized more games for throwing towards the hitter, not even hitting him, just going up and in at a hitter, than any of the Astros got penalized for literally cheating is disgraceful to the MLB.
Well, they had immunity. They had immunity from the. They had immunity,
you have
which
immunity.
is another disgrace. It's a disgrace.
It's a joke. You have immunity from cheating, for literally cheating your way to a title. Give me a break.
And that's the problem with baseball, bro. That's the problem with baseball, man. They really don't know how to do things, man. It's so unfortunate. They're lucky that they have fans like us that just respect the game, love the game, because we played the game, we understand the game. But like, the world is shifting, man. And I really see baseball going out of business if they continue not.
The problem with baseball, they're not attracting new fans. See, every day, the NBA and the NFL attract new fans. Every day, whether it's, something that Patrick Mahomes did, or it's something that LeBron continues to do, or even Steph Curry. Steph Curry got kids pulling up from the half court, bro. Like, they're changing not only fandom, they're changing culture. MLB ain't, and like I said, it kills me as a diehard baseball fan, but until they start letting players, like you said, show their personalities, and until they stop implementing these ridiculous rules, MLB is always going to be a step behind. It's always going to be America's pastime, but it's never going to become it's never going to reach the level of these other sports. Never.
By the way, I love your shirt, Murderer's Row. That's fire.
Yeah, baby.
And full disclosure, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm trying to be super objective because that's my job. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm biased. I'm not even trying to hide it. I'm biased, but
it's all right. It's all right.
My dad's a Met fan, and all my cousins are Met fans, so I like the Mets too, in a sense. Like, obviously not more than the Yankees, but like, I'm not one of those that's like, I hope the Mets lose every game. Like, I'll make fun of them because they're just easy to make fun of. But
but you want them to do well. You want them to do well.
When the Mets went to the World Series, I was rooting for the Mets.
I was there. I was pissed off they lost to the Royals.
I was rooting for them, bro. I thought they had it.
My cameraman today is a diehard Royals fan. I lost a lot of money to him.
Well, remember
Shout out to my boy Tyler and the Kansas City Royals, 2013 MLB champions over there.
But the year before, me and you were talking, and you had told me the Giants are gonna win it, I think, and I was like, I don't know, I like the Royals, and you were like, nah, bro, some Giants, they're good, and But they were like a dynasty at that point.
Yeah, no, they were tough to beat, man. They were really clutch with Bumgarner and Sandoval when he was skinny,
Bro, Sandoval's like,
what a hot
he gained
mess.
like 100
pounds. I love you, Pablo,
bro.
but D, man, what's happening, brother, man?
God, my man got big, bro. Damn.
Oh, man, too much mango. It's good stuff. What can I say to this golpes, bro?
Wow, bro. Every day, 3 times a day.
Shout out to my Dominicans out there, staying healthy. You already know.
Shout out to the Dominicans, man. I love me some Dominicans.
Facts of life, But Pablo, you gotta lay off a little bit, Papi. We got some baseball to play, You're not on quarantine anymore, Pa.
Bro, I don't know how he's even still in the league the way he's looking, bro. And then my man,
he's still in the league. He's got a big ass contract. He can't go nowhere. Somebody owes him money.
CC Sabathia looks good, bro. He's retired, and now my man slimmed up. But you know what it was? CC needed that weight to pitch. Because when CC slimmed up, he wasn't the same pitcher.
He stunk. He stunk. Yeah.
So how do you feel about, Corey, how do you feel about the playoff format being expanded? I'm like, bro, just leave it alone, man.
I hate it. I'll be honest with you. I hate it. Now, I would have liked if they added, maybe one, do 6 and 6, right? Like NFL.
6 and 6.
NFL makes sense, 6-6.
Yeah.
But to do, what is it, 8-8 now?
16 teams, bro.
That's more than half the league makes the playoffs, and it kind of diminishes what the regular season is about. The regular season's a marathon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's like rewarding everybody. Oh yeah, if you cross the finish line, you get to make the playoffs. Like, no, bro, like you got to be elite during the year to make the playoffs. Now, I like what they're doing as far as like, okay, we got to like for example, a few years ago they implemented the one game, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I always felt like it should have been a 3-game series. It's like, damn, like you're the nastiest team all year. You unfortunately end up in a wild card situation, and then like you have one off night and your whole season's over. Like, damn. So usually I feel like the better team would come out if you do a 3-game series. But to bring 8 teams into the mix on a shortened season doesn't make sense to me.
And now every series is 2 out of 3, so you have to play. Even if you win the decision, even if you win the division, you got to play a series, bro, and win 2 out of 3.
Really? Yep. So there's no bye?
Right here. Look, my brother, here it goes, man. I'm gonna read it to you, bro, because this shit sound crazy. How many rounds will be played? Here it goes. So we have number 1 seed versus 8 seed. 2 out of 3, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, bro. Division series is a best of 5, and then you have the traditional NLCS, which is a best of 7, bro. And there you go.
Joke, bro. What a joke.
So the Yankees could the Yankees could go 50-10 and lose 2 out of 3 because the other team's best 2 starters had a great game, and then adios, wasted season.
I mean, and as crazy as that sounds, that is so possible. You think about some of these teams that got like a nice 1-2 rotation, like Tampa. Tampa got a couple nice starters. You know what I mean? So like,
Corey, a lot of teams have good starters. You have to at least have a decent starter. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to be facing the team's best pitchers, you know? And if the other guy has a better game than the other guy, you're fucked.
I don't like it.
Excuse my French.
I don't like it. Hey, listen, I'm right there with you.
I'm not a fan.
I don't like it at all. I think that they completely messed up doing this. Oh, man, look, Boston just took the lead. Unbelievable. I think, I don't know. I don't like the fact, like, if they would have done that, okay, I understand the 8 teams, but then give, like, the 1 and 2 seeds a bye. Then it's like, all right, it makes sense. Okay, let the other teams battle it out.
Exactly.
But that's what they originally said. They were going to do some shit like that. And then it was like the number 1 seed gets to pick which team they want to play in the second round, or something along those lines. But for them to force the number 1 seed to play the 8 seed is just so stupid.
And there
man.
you go.
MLB has a way of fucking things up no matter what.
I'm telling you.
Unbelievable.
But man, let me tell you, MLB, shout out from 2 Latinos where, you know, Latinos is heavy in the game. We're talking to y'all. Please, let's get it together, man. And you know, with all the love in the world, my co-producer today is a white man who also agrees with us. You know what I'm saying? Who loves baseball just as much as we do, bro. Like, this is a universal thing, guys. This is not a freaking biased thing. Make the game better. Y'all messing it up with your antiquated views, please. Baseball matters.
Baseball matters. Baseball matters, bro. Absolutely,
you, man. This is crazy. Hashtag, man.
Absolutely,
now, Corey, we've reached the time, man, of the podcast where we play one of my favorite games, 5 Words with Angel. All right, Mr. Semidey, Mr. Corey, on 5 Words with Angel, I'm going to say 5 phrases. You're going to give me the first thought that comes into your head, or the first word, if you will. Are you ready to play 5 Words with Angel, my brother?
Let's do it.
Let's get it. Corey, the first. Actually, I'm going to ask you questions on this round. Who will be the NBA champion at the end of the year?
Los Angeles Lakers.
Ooh, okay. Second phrase / question here on the 5 Words with Angel. Who will be the NBA MVP, Corey?
LBJ.
LBJ. I hope so too, man. I hope so too.
I hope.
He got a lot of flack for going to the West Coast. Now he's killing over there. They come up with excuse every time he does something great. I'm so annoyed by the LeBron haters. Like, honestly, it's really annoying.
I come around on LeBron.
No, I've been on his bandwagon since the beginning because I'm like, yo, bro, come on, his greatness is solidified, bro. Especially by now. Before it's like I understood, but like now, bro, like come on, with all the things that have happened in the NBA, come on.
Can't even question at this point.
Now, Corey, third question / phrase / you know what? MLB champion. Who's winning the chip? Who's winning the World Series this year, brother? Give me a prediction.
The new murderers, bro. The 2020 New York Yankees.
Oh man, who's your favorite little rascal? Is it Alfalfa or is it the Yankees?
Listen, bro, I know it sounds biased, but who got a better squad? We got Garrett Cole now. The one thing that held us back.
The Dodgers talk a lot of smack, though, Mr. Choking Dodgers over there.
Oh, listen, so you mentioned something earlier, right? Mookie Betts, is he worth that money? If he keeps throwing out people the way he threw out money at third base the other day, he deserves that money. But listen,
he made me a believer with that throw, I'll be honest with you.
Oh my God. I run that back. See, that's what I love. That's the beauty in baseball that I love. That type of play. You know what I mean? But to say that anybody's worth this money, like, bro, I'm sorry. I don't give a damn if you came into this world with a baseball bat and a glove in your hand at birth, bro. Nobody's worth $300 million. Nobody. Because you're bound to deteriorate. It's just Father Time is undefeated.
Bro, look at Bryce Harper. If Bryce Harper didn't teach you anything last year, Bryce Harper signs a $300+ million deal with the Phillies, and a team in his division wins the World Series. It's like, there you go.
Not only a team in his division, his old team. His old team, the team he left.
I was trying to give him some slack. Thank you for taking that for you.
The team he left wins, bro, and he does nothing. What does he bat, like 260 something? Like he's not even like a 300 hitter.
Bro. And he wasn't even a top 50 player last year, bro.
330 million he got. So to me, it's about the name. You know, it's about the name. Now think about this. There's another thing to think about. My dark horse in the MLB. Not necessarily to win it all, but to make a run is the Chicago White Sox.
Everybody likes them. I don't think they'll make the playoffs personally, but we'll see.
They got a nice young squad. And think about this. Back last summer, who was the team who put the first offer on the table for Manny Machado? It was the Chicago White Sox. I believe they offered him like 7 years, $185 million, something like that. And he turned them down, obviously, because he got like the mega bag over in San Diego. But imagine if they had Machado on that team with the squad that they have now.
They'd be a contender. They'll be a contender.
And Robert and Tim Anderson and all these boys. They'd be a contender.
They'd be a contender.
They're a nice young up-and-coming team, but I think Yankees.
Who's going to win the MVP? NL, AL. Who's your AL MVP? Who's your NL MVP? Fourth question on 5 Words with Angel.
AL MVP? Oh, man, I hate to be biased again, but, bro, 5 home runs, 5 straight games. This is the Aaron Judge revenge tour, bro. The Aaron Judge revenge tour starts this year. Aaron Judge, AL MVP.
NL MVP?
NL MVP? Could be Mookie, could be Cody Bellinger. I'm going to go with either Cody or Mookie.
Cody or Mookie, here we go. And now, last phrase on 5 Words with Angel. Where will the New York Yankees end up this season?
Where will the New York Yankees end up?
Yes.
In City Hall.
Where will our guys end up, bro? Where do you think we're going to end up, bro? Let me know.
Ticker tape parade down Manhattan, City Hall, number 28, held high for the world.
We are the champions, my friend. We're going to be singing Queen this year.
We are the champions, my friend.
Yes, man. You know, it's good to have friends in high places, man. That's a fact.
Oh, man. That's it,
well,
bro.
Mr. Semidey, Cory, man, thank you so much for being a part of the Angel of Words podcast, man. It was a pleasure Thank you for dropping the knowledge on us. Letting us know what it is. Yo, and I'm sure that all of the fans that listen to Angel Words podcast all over the world, because they're everywhere, now they get a little chance to know how much we love, what we love about baseball, how much we love it, what's happening with the NBA, and, tune in. And my brother, you're going to be back on the show back when this is all said and done. We'll have a recap episode.
Listen.
You already know. AOWENT correspondent, sports correspondent, Cory Semidey, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Listen, thank you for having me, bro. It's been an honor. I admire what you do from afar. I see you really killing this podcast game and giving us some content during this COVID and during this quarantine. And there's nothing that unites different people like talking over conversations of shit that we like and shit that we enjoy. And we just both happen to love sports. So whenever you need me back on, I would love to come back on. We can make it a weekly thing, a monthly thing, whatever the case may be. Love this show. I hope all the people who listen had a good time tonight. And, the world is yours, bro. Keep going, doing what you're doing, baby.
Oh, no, brother. You already know we taking this ride together on the sports wave, man. You got to come back because you made predictions. We got to talk about the predictions.
That's it, bro.
You already know, man. I'm already scheduling the next meetup, man. But thank you so much, Cory, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Football's on the way. Fantasy football.
Oh, yeah. It's on the horizon.
Fantasy football episode. Yeah. When you're ready for that fantasy football episode, I'm ready for that fantasy football episode. That's my shit.
Let's get. All right, bet. That's a deal, my brother. You already know, man. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yo,
have
hey,
a good night,
be
all right,
safe,
Cory?
bro. Thank you for having me, brother.
You already know, my brother. Thank you so much. You too, bro.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed my interview today with our Angel of Words Entertainment sports correspondent, Mr. Cory Semidey. And if you want to continue viewing or listening to the Angel of Words podcast, you know that you can follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. Also, if you want to know what we're doing at the Angel of Words podcast on our social media and on my social media, follow us at Angel of Words, ENT, all one word. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone.